Hello YouTube. Today we are looking at the Sky Striker deck we used to get to Master 1 on the past couple of streams. And we are playing a bit spicier version with Change of Hearts and Snatch Steals. And let's talk about our choices. So, or my choices more like, I am playing Triple Ray and 1 Rose as the classic ratio goes. But I'm only playing 1 Hornet Drones. I personally don't like playing more Hornet Drones. Like, there would be sometimes if you could draw 2 of them that you could go Azalea and start threatening stuff with that, but it's minuscule chances and, like, it's not worth the slots, and you don't want to run full package of everything you could have available to you, cause then you will be just breaking on. You have a ton of access to the striker monsters, but no big spells to actually threaten an opponent's board with. And also Ray and Rose have the benefit of being a 1-card engage 0 if that comes up, compared to Hornet Drones that does not have that capability. Then we have the classic board breakers in Feather Duster and like back row breakers in Heavy Feather Duster and Heavy Storm, but the spicier choice is Soul Release for mostly for the Fiendsmith Azamina Snake Eye builds, where they have shitload of good targets in grave, so they kind of have to negate this. And it helps against stuff like White Forest, Fiendsmith engine in general. It has its place, and it's a solid like first move of a turn, but it would be also the first slots to cut out if you need space for your other cards. Then Triple Change of Heart again is just here to force opponent to start playing monster effects, so triple attacks go online. Then Reinforcements Army engage. Afterburners, nothing much to say. Then Lightning Storms. We're not playing Raigeki or Dark Hole, cause like only mass monster removal is Lightning Storm, mostly because we are playing the Change of Hearts and Snatch Steals, so we don't wanna make opponents' monsters disappear, as well as we want them to have something on field when we trust. So you prefer to just destroy back rows, and well, Lightning Storm sometimes can flex as a monster removal, but it's mostly for the spell trap destruction. Then there's talent and trusts. Only 1 talent, cause I round through games and a lot of time you were lacking a way to like force opponent to start using monster effects, and then you were just breaking on talents, trusts, and maybe you just had more striker monsters. So I wanted to cut down on those and have more stuff that forces opponent to start playing on my turn. Then Snatch Steal is, in my opinion, even though Change of Heart is searchable by trust, you would basically never do that. So I would count Snatch Steal as the better one out of these 2. And it's specifically for 1 interaction, and that's against Sylvia. As I'm in the Sylvia, because when you use a Snatch Steal, it actually equips it to the just opponent's monster, and then as a continuous effect steals it to your side of the field. Whereas Sylvia just negates the effect, but it can't negate a continuous effect, but it can still respond to activations. So opponents will a lot of time not know this, because it's not common interaction, but you can, for example, a typical Snake Eye end board, you can activate Snatch Steals, target their Apo, and then they try to Sylvia negate the Snatch Steal, but that does not work, and instead you will be just taking the Apo, and then you can easily play your trusts and everything else with Apo covering you. So that's fun. And I will have a clip at the end to show what I'm talking about. Then we have again just basic stuff. We already talked Y1 Hornet drones. Next spicy thing is a Eagle Booster. Eagle Booster has been good-ish to me. It's mostly on matchups where you really didn't win on your first turn, but you did break your opponent's board enough that they are gonna lose the long game because they don't have a good way to prevent you from just going Kagari and multi-roll and stuff like that and plus billion. And in those matchups, even though if you leave them some pieces of their board left, or like they have too much recovery from grave, stuff like Feedsmith Engine and maybe Azabina stuff coming, then you can just search for with Eagle Booster with Shizuku with multi-roll up, and then activate Eagle Booster, make yourself immune on their draw phase, and then just ride it out and then beat them on the grind game. But you need to be sure when you do it. Like a lot of times Eagle Booster can also be kind of a nothing burger. They negate, like maybe they destroy your multi-roll, then suddenly you're not recovering, and then they just negate your Kagari and you don't get back the end gauge. But I still like to have the option, so I'm playing one, but it's another like on the same boat as Soul Release where you could cut this one out easily for your own preferences. And then rest of the cards are fairly standard. Like some people have been cutting out linkages, but I wouldn't cut it out just because of Desiree, because it needs to negate face-up cards, so you can, for example, activate a Heavy Storm, Desiree will start to negate, and you can then activate Linkage, send the Heavy Storm to the graveyard. Then it can't be negated because it's no longer face-up, you destroy their spells, and that feels nice. But if you're doing that, do remember that Desiree still will be able to negate, so don't linkage into Kagari, linkage into like Hayate, Kaina, whatever like link that you don't actually need to summon or like need the effect of. Then just go for those. Then on the extra deck side, there's nothing much to say. Like maybe 2 Shizukus over 3 is kinda weird, but it makes sense. Just you never get to the third Shizuku, or like even if you get to it, it's rarely you have any more like valid search targets because you have like a Shark Cannon Widow already in graveyard, maybe linkage also, and then like even if you can search for something, then most likely if you are at that position, you're winning anyway, so the Shizuku search doesn't matter, and other stuff will come up more often. Then only one Zeke. This is something you could consider upping up to 2 over the games. I've had some moments where I wanted second Zeke, but they were rare. Like the other options were about equally likely to happen. Like Azalea is just good. We're stealing stuff, so there's a lot more easier ways to get 2 lights and lights and darks going than with just standard build. Then Camellia is just amazing, like when it comes up, and you can sometimes wield it as a form of interaction if you like are under max seed, then you can, like if you get max seeds on Camellia summon, then you can hold it and then use it. Use linkage or droplet to turn it into an interaction. SP and access code are just standard, and then Engage 0 is a interesting one for sure. Like as I am playing less one card, like no Raigekis Dark Holes, so less ways to just clear out monsters. I do prefer having it around. And then it has some funny interactions with something like branded fusion. You can, against branded fusion, you can like chain linkage on the same chain as they activate branded fusion. Then when it resolves, they will have the opportunity first to trigger their fusion effect, and then next thing that happens is engage 0 negates it. So it's nice, and having the opportunity to board wipe is really nifty. And then Temperance is my choice over Zeke. Like, if I would have cut down for the second Zeke, I would cut Temperance. But I prefer the Temp just because it's also generic, because it just needs a link, but it doesn't need a Sky Striker monster. So if you start stealing a whole bunch of stuff, you can just all slam them into Temperance. Then Temperance can still take one, and then you have just cleared like 4 more opponents' monsters out with making of Temperance, and also it just gives you the option to go to 5300 on access code, so you can go access code, attack linkage into Kagari, add back linkage, attack with Kagari linkage, and OTK. It's a rarer thing, but it happens sometimes, so it's nice to have the option. And Temperance also is a interesting interaction because you can do it easily by like shark cannoning an opponent's IP and making Temperance, especially if you have used your SP already. Then Temperance is really good because it has the when this card is destroyed by a battle effect, so you get 2 Sky Striker monsters back when it gets destroyed, 1 Ray and then one whatever link you want. So you can use those as another mechanism to like survive opponents' pushbacks. Yeah, that's about it for the actual profile, but do check out the clip explaining Snatch Steal interaction. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.